Hey everybody, welcome to Nights of Halloween. Oh my goodness, what a week it has been here on Rockin' Boxes Presents. Guys, you know what? I don't even know how to introduce this wonderful lady this evening. She's been in so many great movies. Roller Movie, Maniac Cop 1, Maniac Cop 2, Terror Tales. Please everybody, please welcome my guest this evening on Nights of Halloween, the beautiful Laurene Landon. Laurene, how are you? Welcome.
I am doing better than most and not as good as some. Thank you so much for having me on your amazing show, Rockin' Boxes Presents Nights of Halloween. Thank you so much. I am thrilled to be a guest on your show. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And you know what? We are ecstatic to have you with us. And thank you so much. Take the time out of your busy schedule and join us. I know how it is for you guys. You know, Halloween time, it's crazy. Tonight, Saturday, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going out and partying. But let's hope that we have the viewers. Let's go see. So essentially what I'm going to go do is going to go check out and see who is who and who is with us. But let's get right into it. So I don't even know where to begin, okay? I really don't know where to begin. Let's just go back a little bit and, do you mind you're from Toronto and I'm from Toronto.
Yes.
So you want to just give us a little bit of backstory of Toronto and where you ended up afterwards and on, if you don't mind?
Well, I was born in Toronto, and my mom was from Poland, from Tarnopol, and she met my father in Toronto. And they tried to get across the border for 8 years so that we could have a better life here, yeah? So eventually they got across, went through the proper channels. And so here I am. We came to Hollywood when I was very young. And then we moved to El Monte, and I grew up in El Monte and went to El Monte High School. And then because I was always the kid in class that was always getting in trouble and goofing off, and the wild child, and doing plays, I always wanted to entertain, and I always wanted to improvise and just try to make people laugh. You know, my parents were divorced when I was young. Excuse me. And Dad kept going back to Canada, to Toronto, and I would go up and see him a lot, but he didn't come back down too often because my mom was always stealing his money. So it's true. And so he stayed with us off and on throughout junior high and high school. And then he moved back to Toronto and then to Vancouver, where I would go visit him. And then in Halloween of '98, I actually brought him down here because he suffered a cardiac arrest and was clinically dead for 13 minutes. He had a 13-minute downtime, and then he came back, but he suffered encephalopathy, brain damage, and so I brought him down here and took care of him. So that's how I got to Hollywood.
Wow, that's an incredible story. And so, have you been to Toronto a lot since?
Well, I was there a year and a half ago. First of all, I was there 6 years ago for the Masters of Horror episode of Pick Me Up with Michael Moriarty, who I absolutely adore. And so the interesting thing was the hotel I was staying at was right across the hospital from where my father had his open heart surgery. And I had fallen in love with the cardiologist, Dr. Alan Rabinowitz, who saved my father's life when he had the cardiac arrest. Because at first my dad was in Burnaby General Hospital, and then I had him transported by ambulance to St. Paul's Hospital. And they wouldn't do anything about his surgery, saying he was a cabbage. They kept calling him a cabbage. But this amazing cardiologist, he fought for me. And I myself went to the vice president of the hospital and threatened the vice president of the hospital and said all kinds of stuff. And I had done a lot of research about cardiomyovascular research and so forth, and from the Texas Heart Institute. And the vice president didn't know if I was for real or not. And he asked me what capacity in, and I said it doesn't matter. It's not important. What is important is you take care of my father and get him his OHS. And so ultimately he said, I have 3 daughters of my own, and I wish to God I had a daughter like you. So my dad got his OHS, and then Halloween of '98, I snuck him across the border. Oddly enough, it was Halloween of '98, and then I took care of him. And so did my sisters. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, so you might not remember Toronto because you left at a young age, but it's certainly changed in many years with all those condominiums downtown Toronto and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was born on Avenue Road. Are you familiar with Avenue Road?
Absolutely, just north town. That's north of Toronto, just like north of Bloor. Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly what it is. When
I was at TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival, about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, we were screening my premiere of my film Sky, which is on Netflix right now, with Diane Kruger and Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead. There were 1,500 people there, and I got a standing ovation for my performance in that. And the funny thing was, I was staying, the hotel I was staying at was right across the hospital from Toronto General, where I was born. So that was quite remarkable.
Yeah, and you know, I go there now and then. I'm starting to come out.
What happened to you?
I don't know. I scratched my forehead while you were speaking. Sorry, hon. Oh my gosh, I don't know. And it just, yeah, it's okay. I'll be fine.
Looks like you need stitches.
At some point, I probably might. Yeah, it's okay. If I start to fade away at the end, don't worry, we'll be good. So let's continue on. Maybe I'm having a brain aneurysm. I don't know. It's something like it's just like starting to spurt out, but that's good. That's okay. So let's go back a little bit. We have a lot of people on here that are watching, and last night you were talking to one individual. His name is Tampa J, and he's in Florida, and he said he had the biggest crush on you when he watched the Maniac Cops, I guess, as he was growing up.
Right here behind me. Can you see it behind me?
Yeah, absolutely. The Maniac Cop 2. Yes.
Can you see the poster behind me?
Oh, yeah. I see that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You see it?
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean he had, as in past tense?
Well, I don't. Wait. Well, he's just said he had the biggest crush on Laurene after I watched the Maniac Cops. He was talking to you last night, so I'm pretty sure that.
I remember we were making plans for the future while Jimmy was talking. I'm being facetious. I'm joking. Please tell him hi, Tampa J. Is it Tampa J, eh? Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he says he can't stay. I think he has. I'm sorry, Sean, I have to go. I have a Rocky Horror date tonight. Oh, come on. This is your Rocky Horror.
That's okay. It's ladies. Where is he? In Florida? What time is it there now?
It's our time.
It's 10 o'clock?
It's 9:30. Yeah, 9:38.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead.
It's party time.
Of course, it's party time. It's party time. So anyway, let's go back a little bit, and let's talk about a couple of the movies that you did that I really remember as a kid. You know, the boxes, you know, the VHS and the Betamax tapes and everything.
You mean before your parents were born?
Somewhat, yeah, in the 1800s. Yeah, exactly. So tell us a little bit about all the marbles and working with Peter Falk and you know, and Burt Young, you know, and also answer this: did you get any wrestling coaching?
Oh my gosh, yes. We trained with Mildred Burke. She was a wrestling champion, excuse me, for many years, and they had seen. I don't know. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You're bleeding again.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm good. I'm just. It's okay.
All right. Anyway, there were two things. Robert Aldrich, the director at MGM, he directed Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, The Dirty Dozen, The Longest Yard, hundreds of the greatest movies of all time. And when I met him, I didn't know who he was. I was 20 years old. And I said, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Altman. I thought his name was Robert Altman. And he laughed and he laughed. and I thought something was showing, and he said, no, my name's Robert Aldrich. And I said, who's that? Because I'd only heard of Robert Altman. And then his son, Bill Aldrich, said, no, my dad is Robert Aldrich.
Yeah.
You know, later on, I found out after who he was. So we went to wrestling school. They saw 2,000 girls. Initially, they tried to train girls, wrestlers, to act, and they couldn't do that. So then they went after actresses, and they trained us to wrestle for 9 months, if you can believe that.
Wow.
Nine months. And then the actor strike hit for 3 or 4 months, and Vicki Frederick and I were the only ones that continued to practice wrestling with some Mildred Burke and some wrestlers she had from Mexico. Yeah. Brilliant, incredibly talented, and they were tougher than any of the guy wrestlers that were there training us. There were men and women, but the women, well, they made the guys look like sissies. What do you? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. Don't worry. You keep going. I'm enjoying what you're saying. It's so good. And the brains are good, too. Sorry. I'm good.
What kind of brains? What brains are they?
They're brains that I got from Tom Matthews. Actually, they were sent up from, you know, Midwestern states. And actually, they're leftovers from last night. Would you like a bite? They're really good. Oh.
No, I think I'll pass.
No, okay.
I ate a little while ago. A lot. I ate a lot. So thank you.
So good. So continue on. Sorry.
Oh, anyway, so they saw 2,000 girls, narrowed it down to 12. They screen tested 12 of us, okay, and then sent 4 of us to wrestling school.
Yeah.
The head of the studio and Robert Aldrich and everybody. They sent 4 of us to wrestling school, and we continued to wrestle. But when the actor strike hit, 2 of the wrestlers didn't want to wrestle, and because it was against the SAG rules. So, but Vicki and I did something rather duplicitous, I suppose, and we continued to stay in shape and to wrestle because we wanted those parts more than anything. Originally, Paul Newman was going to star in the movie, and at the last minute, he backed out. And I'm not sure if it was The Color of Money, but they had beginning Paul Newman was going to star with us, was the lead, was Harry in the movie. So when Peter Falk got on board, we were really surprised, and I was happy because I couldn't believe I was in a major studio film directed by one of the greatest directors of all time. So
that's fantastic. Talk a little bit about Burt Young. I love Burt Young and always the Rocky movies, and you know, he's a gentle, kind soul. He was here in Niagara Falls, and too bad I missed him. But could you talk a little bit about him as well?
Well, he was very compassionate. He was very giving. He was very rustic. He had no arrogance, no attitude about him. He was incredibly funny. He had a daughter. He was single at the time. He was absolutely lovely. And I ran into him at Chiller Theater a couple of years ago. Yeah. And he was, you're so funny. He was there, and he got up he was signing autographs, and he got up and he came over and he yelled my name. And we took some pictures. Great to see you.
I'm sorry. Yeah. It's starting to go again here. That's okay. All right. So, can you hear me?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh my gosh. All right. I'm gonna need stitches for this soon. So let's talk about Roller Boogie, and you know, tell people, like, did you Were you a good roller skater before? You know, roller skating was my thing. I loved roller skating. Not rollerblading, roller skating. I'm talking old school now.
Oh yeah. Going back to the 80s, yes, and 70s, whatever. But um, being that we grew up rather indigent, you know, we couldn't afford expensive sports and so forth. But you know, we could get got a pair of roller skates from the Goodwill and or Salvation Army actually. And I love skating. I could do axel spins, and I used to skate at Flippers all the time on La Cienega. And Cher had a rink out in Reseda that I got invited to every Monday night. Jack Nicholson was there. The Who's Who was there. I would always skate in the middle and do axles and back and never fall. And a lot of people there, a lot of actors there wanted me to teach them how to skate. So yeah, I still love roller skating. I roller skate in Sky actually. I made my own skates, but I never got to wear them because Diane Kruger loved my skates. It took 4 hours to, you know, put the rhinestones and the hearts and the crosses on them. So she wore my skates in the movie and whatever.
And whatever. Oh, that's cool. And you also worked. This is the second part of the question. You also worked with Linda Blair. Oh my gosh, you got to talk about The Exorcist when it's like Halloween, but. Linda Blair, she was also on the film, and you know, with all these horror films, you know, what was your thought of The Exorcist anyway? I mean,
well, at the time, I was not allowed to see it.
Okay.
My mom and dad would not let me see it at all. But yeah, of course, eventually I saw it, and I thought it was. Well, I felt it transmitted signals of excessive violence, and I thought the masturbation scene with the cross was absolutely despicable. But that was the script, and I'm sure that's what attracted everybody to the movie, was going to see that scene.
Yeah.
I thought she did a phenomenal job, an unbelievable job. And I talked to her on Roller Boogie a few times, but she was very busy trying to learn how to skate. And she was doubled a lot in all the skating or axles that you see. It was not her. Jim Bray, who was a professional skater, did all his own skating, but she was doubled. Yeah, she was doubled, and all the fancy stuff you see in the distance. That was one of the first things I ever did, and I was just a skater in a pink outfit. That's all. I didn't have any dialogue or anything like that. But
Yeah.
she was cool. She was really cool.
Yeah. And you know what? What's that?
I see her at autograph shows, and she's very into pit bulls, rescuing pit bulls, as I am. I rescue pit bulls. I have pit bulls, and but I think that's her life's journey right now. I'm not sure if she's acting anymore. Do you know if she's acting anymore?
Not to my knowledge. She's really doing the activist thing. She was here in Niagara Falls about 1.5 years ago or something. But yeah, yeah, she's really into that. You know, she really doesn't like the proclaim the flame of the, you know, she'll sign autographs, and she does it for the shows and whatnot. And she had Roller Boogie stuff there as well, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, she's really into that, you know, go to the, you know, her website and help the whole thing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And at the end, I want you to tell everybody where they can find you with respect to that, if there's anything that you want to share with anybody to, you know, go out there and help pit bulls, for sure.
Oh yes, the rescue, in case I forget, is called CircleL.org. It's in Prescott, Arizona. Circle L, Circle of Love. It's called Circle K Ranch, Circle L. That's an unbelievable place to rescue pit bulls, and also all kinds of dogs, not just pit bulls, but mostly pit bulls, because you know that people dump them off all the time and don't want them. And the thing that people don't know about pit bulls is they are the most loyal of all dogs, and that's why they are so protective of their owner. And you got a bloody nose, pal.
Oh, I know. I know. It started.
I just gave you one.
Oh my God! I'm hanging in there, Laurene. Oh, we got Laurene. Hang on, she's a little bit. Yeah. Oh my God. I know. So,
how can you see with all that blood?
don't worry, it'll be better later. I'll be able to see perfect. So, so let's move on. Let's talk a little bit more. Somebody asked about Airplane 2, and I want to know, how did you get the role?
I slept with the director.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So you guys are getting kids. Look at that.
What happened was I had just done all the marbles, the jury, and the producers at what was it? Paramount called my agent, B. Kellen Jennings, and said they wanted me to be in the movie. And so I met with what's his name, Howard something, I don't remember, and the director Ken Finkelman, and they hired me. I didn't have to read or anything, and I made so much money. It was insane. Worked on it 3 weeks, and it was an ensemble cast, so everybody was in the cast. So they shot enough for 3 airplanes, to be honest with you. I don't know why they never made another one. I still believe in my heart that the first one was the best one of all.
Well, oh yeah, for sure. But you were great in Airplane 2, because, growing up as a young kid, these are movies, you go to the theater and you start, this was comedy for my genre, my days, and I'm so happy that you're sitting here with me. It's amazing. And I can't wait till we get to do a sit down one day. We'll have a blast. Oh yeah.
Yes, we better.
So also now we're going to 1988, and want to talk about Maniac Cop in 1990. Tell us what it was like to work with Bruce Campbell, as well as you can touch on Robert Davi, who was my first interview, first celebrity interview. But yeah, and it was also written by your very good friend Larry Cohen. So let's talk about Maniac Cop.
Larry Cohen is my best friend for 35 years.
Yes.
We write together. We have the praying mantis. Can you see the praying mantis over here?
Yes.
That's a comic book. We made it into a comic book. Can you see it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a comic book, and we have a very, very interested publisher from the UK. I wish I could say his name, but I can't because we haven't signed anything. Okay. But he wants to publish it in January sometime. Mm-hmm. So Larry Cohen and I wrote this, and as you can see, the praying mantis has carbon fiber legs.
Yes, I see that.
That was my idea, and so was the concept, actually, because at the time Larry and I were going to see Stan Lee. We were going to see Stan Lee to pick some of Larry's ideas, and I said in the kitchen when I got to his house, I got this crazy idea about a praying mantis. He said, what are you talking about? I said, well, how about we have this guy, he's in the war, he loses his legs in the war, and he comes back, and he's a priest, he loses his brother in an IED accident, and he comes back to, I don't know, say, the most crime-ridden city in LA, which is Washington, D.C., which we based it on. Ultimately, by day, he's a priest. He has no legs, he's lost his legs, and he feels sorry for himself, and he has this antediluvian cathedral that he lives in, and he lives in the bottom of it, kind of like Batman. And at night, well, during the day, he hears all these people complaining, and there's no justice for all these things that are happening. The police won't do anything. There's, a lot of injustice in the criminal justice system. So what he does by night becomes the praying mantis. So, and Larry had the character design, had my facial features. I am Susan Humphreys in the book. It was not my idea, but Larry insisted with our graphic illustrator, Ron Randell, and all the people that worked on it. So it's an amazing story. It's incredibly funny, patriotic, and we are so proud of that.
That's awesome. And so what about Maniac Cop?
What about it?
You're a maniac, because I'm a maniac.
Maniac, yeah, we're all maniacs in our own way, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I had done all the marbles, the jury, Airplane 2 in Israel, and so Larry asked me if I wanted to be in Maniac Cop, And I said yes, because I wanted to. And I liked the script because I don't know, it didn't, it was horror, but it didn't have all the graphics things in it that a lot of horror movies have. So, and it was a great character. I got to play a detective, which was a departure from some of the roles I played in the past, like a wrestler. No, I played a detective in I, the Jury, opposite Armand Asante. So,
Yeah.
Airplane 2, I played a bimbo in that. I haven't played many bimbos in my life, though. Thank God. Even though I am.
Roles. Even though you've had some great roles, but I didn't mean to be rude. I wanted to know, where can we get that comic, by the way?
Oh, I only have one copy, and I sent it to the publisher.
Oh, okay.
I sent him a digital file, and I just sent him the book. He saw the digital file. He loves the digital file. He loves the praying mantis. He was blown away. I can't say who it is. Lovely, lovely man, incredibly intelligent. He's just been making movie after movie after movie, and he happens to own a publishing company. So I don't know, just through social media, actually, he found me, and I told him about this comic book that Larry and I had done, and he wanted to see it. So I sent him the digital file. He was blown away, and so we'll see what happens. Larry Cohen and I are very, very optimistic about it. We have had a couple of offers from people to publish the comic book, but we are extremely careful, and we just weren't really happy with the work, I guess you could say, the work of the people that we had seen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And Larry's very specific. I am too, but not as specific as Larry. He knows what he wants. He knows what he's interested in, and the passion and enthusiasm that this company has for the praying mantis is what really inspired us to go with this person. So.
Yeah, and I guess with all the blood, it's making me dizzy. So I guess really what the question was when would it be available? And I'm sorry about that, because this is just
Are you okay?
I'm fading fast.
You're a crazy man. There's only been a few copies made, okay? Maybe 4 copies made, signed by Larry and myself. So they're really collector's items. And to be honest with you, I gave them to my family. I just gave them to my family, and one to a very, very close friend. We'll know more in January. That's all I can say. I can't really elaborate anymore, but I'm extremely proud of his comic. It's incredibly patriotic and very funny too. And nobody's ever done the praying mantis, and it's licensed and copywritten and everything. So don't bother to steal it, anybody, in case you want to. Somebody already did. A very close friend of ours stole the carbon fiber legs and used it in one of his movies a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's all right.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's all right. That's Hollywood.
Yeah, that's Hollywood. So talk a little bit about Hundra. Let's hear about Hundra.
I got to go to Spain. I got to do stunts. I got to fly. Well, I hated flying. I was comatose the whole time I was on the plane because I was terrified of flying. But we were in Almeria and Segovia, the same places that they shot Conan. And yep. I had the most incredible time of my life filming Hundra. And I got to do all of these stunts in the film. And there's talk of 102. I've met with the director, Matt Simber, who created the character. And there's talk by quite a few people, actually, about 102, where I have a daughter now, my age, would be my age right now. So, we'll see. That was the greatest time I ever had in my life. And it was also the worst time of my life.
That's, sometimes sometimes the good way better than the bad, I guess. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so with all these fantastic movies that you've done, I mean, you know, are you a fan of movies, of horror movies especially? I mean, you do a lot of horror, so, or you've done, you know, are not horror, but
I've done the Maniac
no, not horror, but
into. I am doing California Coven that I'm the executive producer of and starring in. It's
yeah,
about witches, basically a care facility that is run by witches that are trying to raise Lucifer from the dead. And another movie called Go Straight to Hell, excellent. It's about a bunch of women that are in purgatory, and they have a guide that is showing them all their past sins that they did.
yeah,
And the sins are so heinous that the guide has to show them, and they're all four of these characters are in denial about what they did and lie about what they did. So I play the mother of one of the daughters. She's a soap opera actress who puts me in a care facility and goes on to Mexico to make a big movie. But what happens in the hospital, the reason I chose this part, because they gave me a choice of the parts to play. And the reason I picked the part of Lacey was because it is something that I can really do a lot with and improvise, and a tremendous range of emotion is involved because she is practically raped. She is so many horrific things are done to her in this basically dungeon. And it's presented as a beautiful care facility like most are today. And you know, Scott Sanford is the producer, director, writer, amazing job writing. I'm very excited about that, and also being able to produce, executive produce, and produce, so I can have a say in what is going on, as opposed to not having a say into what's going on. Recently, something happened where I was supposed to star in a movie, and I'm not going to go into it, but it was pretty horrible what happened when I was signed to do the movie, going to do the movie, and then they had a change of heart at the last minute. So, and plus they wanted me to rehearse a lot, which I would not do at all. It was a SAG movie, and you know, once again I go back to this town, and you know, I'm grateful to work in it, but there are so many fraudulent, phony people in this town that pretend you are their friend, tell you you have the role to your face, read with you, tell you you have the role, the producer tells you you have the role. My agent made the deal before I went to Austin, and then everything fell apart after that. So, you know, I'm very skeptical of this industry. So that's why I'm producing now and executive producing, so I'll have a say in what I'm doing.
yeah. No, that's awesome. And I guess my question really was, I mean, I was going to segue into it to Terror Tales.
Yeah.
Sorry, Night Terrors, and then Terror Tales. So talk a little bit about that, and then I also want to talk about the Nation's Fire with Bruce Dern. So if you can tell us. So let me see. First off, talk about Night Terrors. Yes.
Night Terrors came first. It's directed by a very talented young man named David Maccabee, and what I got from it was whatever happened to Baby Jane, and I'm this over the hill actress, and I have this daughter who is constantly having these frightmares, horrific nightmares, frightmares, and I dismiss her existence, and all I think about is myself. And in the meantime, she's becoming what she's dreaming, and you know, anyways, winning almost every award that David Maccabee enters the movie into festivals. So I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, and now let's talk about, well, do you want to come back to Nation's Fire and Sky, or do you want to talk about Terror Tales? What do you want to go with first?
I'd like to talk about Terror Tales because that came before Nation's Fire. And
yeah, okay.
Well, I work with this director. Thank God for my amazing, incredibly compassionate and kind and loving and honest, operative word here is honest, manager, and his name is Joe Caleb Williamson. And I've never had a manager like this in my life, who has watched over me, made sure nobody took advantage of me. And he got me this part. They wanted somebody else, a bigger name, I'm sure, but ultimately I got the role. And the funny thing is, when I met the director, first of all, I read the script, and
Yeah.
I was amazed by the ability that this director, who I hadn't seen, had the ability to create suspense and tension through the proper timing as I read it. And also just he knew how to manipulate your emotions. That's all I can say about the script. And it was an anthology. It's an anthology, you know. And his name is, and don't sue me. Don't send me to Wickenburg with Harvey Weinstein. He was so young that when I saw him, I thought he must be the grandson of the director.
Oh yeah.
But he was the director, and I think he's 32 maybe. He looks like he's 15, and his mind, the way his mind works, and when he films, you can just get the sense, you get such an adrenaline rush. Okay. You just get an adrenaline rush watching him and how his mind works. You had him on last night. You heard him talk there of how off the charts he is. He's as smart as Larry Cohen is. And I never say that about anybody. But he, to me, is going to be the next master of horror. He's just astonishing. And gentle and kind and giving. And you know, we talked about the part, the character, and so forth. And I told him about something I wanted to do, because basically the story is about a guy, psychopath, who abducts a husband, and the family is in an attached trailer in the back. And the psychopath has a button, and he's going to blow up the back. And he predisposes the lead guy, the husband, to 3 tales of terror. And Lynn Lowry is in it. I've only seen clips, and she is astonishing as always. And Jonathan Tiersten plays my son, which is kind of weird, but he plays my son. And I play the mother of Jonathan Tiersten, and I'm trying to throw off the detective that keeps showing up to the house. So I came up with some ideas that I'm not going to go into because I don't want to spoil it for the audience too much. But I came up with an idea to make me so crazy that the detective wouldn't think or know that my son is in the basement, because he's trying to go through the house, and he sees that I couldn't have the rationale or logic to be so manipulative, because I made her so insane, or tried to anyway. So
It sounds like they're coming after you, the cops there.
Yeah, they're playing my song.
So you spoke about Jimmy Lee Combs, who we had last night, who was an honor, and it was amazing to have him on.
Isn't he? And so humble. Let's see how long that lasts in Hollywood. But he's so, he'll stay the same, I'm sure. He's coming to AFM next week, and I hope to get to see him. I'm working on my projects right now, but I will make time to go, if I'm allowed to go to see him at AFM, and I definitely want to support him for this amazing film, that this anthology that he wrote. And he said last night his favorite episode is the radical video episode in the anthology, and because of his love letter to the 80s, right? What are you doing?
I've been taking a shot of some blood that it's been dripping off my face. So
yeah, I see. It looks like you're wearing lipstick.
I am.
Anyway,
yeah, sorry.
You know, the thing about horror that I love, and that most people I think love, is that when people watch horror, their heartbeat increases by 15 beats a minute, and the blood pressure spikes, and it's an adrenaline rush. And it's really no different than, I would say, a roller coaster, eh? A roller coaster where, you know, it's a rush, but at the end, you know, you're going to get off and you're going to be fine. But I love horror movies going back to Frankenstein, all the famous icons, you know, because those were the ones where they pursued you, and the chase was on, and that was so terrifying, the chase. Unlike today, where, well, today they focus less on suspense of the chase and more on the suffering of the victim, right? Yeah. From my experience in watching horror movies, which is, you know, but that goes to society, that goes to show you what the audience is desensitized to. You know, they want more and more and more and more, and, you know, more and more graphic detail and so forth. So I don't know how I got off on that.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm starting to really, but, you know, the movies that they make today, you know, you're right. They chase the, you know, the victim, and they focus more on what the victim is. I remember seeing Frankenstein as a kid, and the monster's face being shown for the first time, and I was like, oh!
Yeah, me too, me too.
And God bless my mom, God rest her soul, she's no longer with us. But I remember her grabbing my head and turning me away from the television. Oh my God! Ah! You know. Yeah. And Dracula,
and Dracula, and the Wolfman, and, you know, all the great icons, you know, back then, and they withstand the test of time, and they go up to what, Jigsaw today, Psycho today, but it's so graphic. Everything nowadays is so graphic. As opposed to in the past is what Larry Cohen always did with his movies, horror movies. Not that he did many at all. He does suspense thrillers. Phone booth, cellular, bestseller. He's got some incredible projects coming up with one of the biggest producer in Hollywood right now. I'm not going to say, even though it's all over the internet, I'm still not going to say who it is. Anyway, so yeah, I love the old movies. Like I said earlier when we spoke very briefly, The Day the Earth Stood Still, and the original The Thing with James Arness, which was in black and white, and Black Christmas. Did you ever see Black Christmas?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, with Margot Kidder was one of my favorites, and I got to meet Margot here in Niagara Falls.
You did? When?
She was fantastic. She actually was here for like the Superman anniversary or something, she was great. And we spoke about Black Christmas, and I remember how frightened I was from that movie. Oh my God.
The eyeball.
The guy in the attic, you know?
Oh. Oh my gosh, that was so scary. And what's scarier is to me is what's left up to the imagination. Always what's left up to the imagination, because we all have a fear. I think we all have the same love for horror, because we all have the same fear, ultimate fear, dread of death.
Yeah.
Of death.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That mortal fear of death, which is inevitable. And going into a theater when all the lights go out and you see these images come on the screen, and, you know, it's terrifying, but at the end, you know, everything's going to be okay. But still, in the back of our minds, and mine anyway, is, you know, ultimately, we're going to die, you know, so.
At some point.
You know, that's really about, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Like tonight, I'm coming to kill you.
When Jerry gets back or whatever, I'm going to ask him for an ambulance, because, oh my God.
You look awful. You look horrible.
What a mess. What a bloody mess.
Yes,
so I wanted to know about the character from Terror Tales. You know, how grueling, you guys shot that in Colorado, correct? You guys were in Colorado for a period of time, and how grueling and mentally, you know, how grueling mentally was it to play the character, Miss Tate?
Well, I had talked to Jimmy about it back and forth in emails for a little while, and I told him this idea that I'd come up with to throw the cops off, that I mentioned earlier to you, to throw the cops detectives off when they showed up looking for the sledgehammer. My son, a serial killer, who was in the basement at the time. So I said, I'd like to come up. I have a creature that I want to believe is alive, and I don't want to say what that creature is because it'll blow the movie. You know?
No. Yeah.
But I have him right here.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Measles. Say hi, Measles.
Measles.
Measles, say hi. Say hi. He hurt his foot.
Hi, Puppy. Hi, Puppy. Say hello to Measles, everybody. What? All the watchers, all the viewers.
So many kisses. I stop it. So many kisses. I stop it. Ha ha. Kisses.
Oh,
Anyway, this is Measles, and he's shy. So are you shy? Yeah, he doesn't. Anyway, I'm gonna put him back in his little bed right now. You okay?
everybody's saying hello to Measles.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. All right, so you were talking about, so we'll leave the character for another day, and hopefully, you know, when everything's said and done, we'll find out exactly what you're talking about. And yeah, you guys all out there, you're gonna have to, you'll get it all from here, and we'll be spreading it all over, spreading the love all over the internet whenever this whole thing is said and done. So I have a couple of questions for you that are just kind of like, you know, about who you are. You know, your sense of humor is awesome. Like, you have a fantastic sense of humor, and, you know,
This is Josie Kong.
Yeah.
This is Josie Kong.
Josie Kong. We have a black kitty named Josie.
You do? This is Josie Kong. Say hi.
Is that how old is Josie Kong?
She's 3. She's my 2.5. She's my assistant.
Oh.
Yeah. She just came to jump on my lap.
Oh.
She's camera shy. You have Josie too?
We have a Josie too, yeah, and a Sasha. Both sisters. Black cats are beautiful little.
Yeah.
Kids. They're older, but I love them.
Yeah. So my other cat's in the other room, and that's fearless kitty. She's 14, and she's you know, she's taking it easy.
Yeah, these kitties are 14, 13 or whatever they are as well. So your sense of humor, let's talk about that. I've watched you in some interviews, and you just come off with the most wittiest stuff. Where does it all come from? And, you know,
my dad.
Your dad?
Yes, my father. My father had the most incredible sense of humor of my and my dad, just as poor as he was, he always made everybody laugh, and made it a point to get everybody's name that he ever met, and to make them feel special, and to make eye contact and make them feel special. I got my sense of humor from my father, Douglas Coughlin. My real name is Laurene Coughlin, not Landon.
Coughlin. Oh my gosh, that's the character from Cocktail. Douglas Coughlin, who was the protege, or Tom Cruise was his protege. Yeah.
Yes. My dad was way before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow.
That's where I got my sense of humor, and from Larry Cohen, because Larry has a ridiculously wonderful sense of humor too. Most people don't know that about Larry Cohen at all. They think, oh, he does horror, he suspense, you know. But Larry cannot say a sentence without making you laugh. Pardon me.
Yeah, I get that you've said that a couple of times behind, like when we spoke. Yeah, I can't wait to meet Larry. It's going to be great. So someone asking here that say, what genre or project would you want to do that for whatever reason you haven't had a chance to do yet?
Okay, I'm a screenwriter as well, eh? So I have 4 scripts ready to go, and the one I'm most passionate about is called Jailhouse Dog. And basically what it's about, in 3 sentences or less, is putting rescue dogs that would otherwise be predisposed to euthanasia into a prison environment. And the dogs rehabilitate these surreptitious subversive inmates. The dogs rehabilitate the inmates, and it's called Jailhouse Dog. And it's ready to go. Larry Cohen and I wrote it together, and it's a passion of mine. He's got his projects, of course, great projects. But you know, I have 4 or 5 screenplays right now that I want to get out there. I want to get out there. But if I had a lot of money, I would make Dog Pen. It was initially called Dog Pen.
Yeah.
Penitentiary, Dog Penitentiary.
Dog Pen, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of subplots going on, and the guy that runs the prison is a loser, and he's an idiot, and he's constantly compromised and be made a fool of by these inmates, right? And one day he has to bring his dog to prison because his wife dumps him for the prison chaplain, Lester the molester. So he has to bring his dog to the prison. They steal his dog, and they fall in love with his dog. When he demands his dog back, he can't find it. And all the inmates love the dog, and they demand their own dog. So what does he do? He looks everywhere. He finally finds a rescue. This crazy girl, Rochelle, who with these red hair extensions, and she's crazy, absolutely off the charts, insane, and obsessed with rescuing. And so he and her bring the dogs into the prison environment, and like I said, she stays and watches and monitors what's going on because she doesn't like this guy that's running the prison. She thinks he's a lunatic. He's just stupid, and ultimately they fall in love. But there's so many subplots going on. But that is my passion, is rescuing. And I'm so happy to see last week California is the first state in the union to pass the law where dogs, puppy mills are no longer legal in California, and you cannot buy a purebred at a store anymore. And that goes into effect January 19. Yeah, January 19. Wish it would go into effect sooner, but that made my year when I saw that California has banned selling purebred dogs. And I cannot emphasize enough, people, please go and rescue. Don't breed for greed. Rescue. Because if people would please go look up the horrors of puppy mills, what really goes on at puppy mills, yeah, you would never ever go and go to a place and get a dog, a puppy. You wouldn't do it. And there's millions of dogs. There's only 5,000 shelters in the United States, and there's something like 1.9 or 2 million dogs, and even more cats that they're trying to shelter or that don't have homes. So if you do the math, 5,000 shelters for 1.9 million or 2 million dogs, so many are one, and cats are even triple that. So I just hope people will rescue and don't breed for them. I don't know. I'm just passionate about that.
You've got a lot of people out there that love exactly what you're saying. And this gentleman, his name is Corey.
I love them too. I love them too.
He's in Atlanta, and all of his dogs were rescues. And or was this? Hang on. This was yeah. I believe that was, anyways, I'm sorry if I mixed that up, but someone said that they've rescued their dogs. And then the other question was what breed of dog would you want to use in your idea of the film?
I had a rescue dog in Dog Pen, or Jailhouse Dog. I had a rescue dog that is a English bulldog, because it was so weird looking, but it was a mix. It's a mix. The dog that I saw that I wrote about was a dog that I had actually seen in a rescue place. But now, because I have such a deep love for pit bulls and all dogs in general, I would probably make that dog a pit bull mix, a Staffordshire Terrier mix. I love all dogs, mind you. I'm just partial to pit bulls because when I go to the shelters, 5% of the shelters full. Yet to go in a cage, and I go into a lot of cages. They let me go into cages. I've yet to go in a cage where a pit bull has bit me, attacked me, or tried to take me down. They always back off, and they're terrified. And that just breaks my heart. That just really breaks my heart. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. But there's all kinds of dogs in dog pen. There's all kinds of dogs. You name it. They're all rescues. They're all unwanted dogs. They're all mixes. They're Dalmatians. You know, Dalmatians are the one breed that goes to the shelters the most. You know why? They're too anxious. The most anxious, high anxiety dogs of all. People get them because they're cute little puppies, like how. But then they take them back to the shelter because when they're grown up, they're so hyper. Yeah, but they're so cute when they're little puppies. So pit bulls and Dalmatians are primarily, from my experience, from going to shelters, are the main dogs that are in the shelters. But there's all kinds of dogs waiting, and cuties waiting for somebody to come and love them. I mean, Josie Kong, who I named after Joe, manager Josie.
Oh, Joe.
Joe. Yeah, incredible, wonderful, loving manager. I named her after Joe. He rescues too, and I have more respect for people who rescue than I do for anybody that I will ever meet in Hollywood. And I knew Marlon Brando very well, and used to call him Pop. But he rescued too. Marlon Brando rescued bull mastiff mixes and Rottweiler Slebba. And that was my dog and Christian Brando's dog, who was my boyfriend for many, many years. But yeah, I have more respect for people that rescue than I do for most human beings, to be honest with you.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's just me. That's just me. I know all the people out there that have purebred. Hey, you bitch! You bitch! I don't care. I don't care. I'm at a point in my life where, you know, I'm a woman who says the words she feels and not the words of one who kneels. I don't kneel anymore. I used to kneel, not to Harvey or people like that, but ever. Oh. But you know what I'm saying?
I hear you, honey. I hear you.
You know, I don't give a crap.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. So I'm not letting you get away without talking about, because we got a little off topic. That's okay. That was great. I love to hear about, because I also rescued a Jack Russell a long time ago. My ex-wife. Yeah, beautiful little dog. We called him Rambo because he was so
Rambo.
But we had to kind of let him go because our son was born and he went at our son, and we couldn't have, you know, our son was only brought home from the hospital, so he had that jealous. So we found him a really good home. We had to screen people, but yeah, it was quite the process to find a really good home for our loving little. I miss Rambo. He was a great little dog.
Rambo, what a great name.
Yeah, yeah. And, okay, so like I said, you're not getting away without touching on the Nation's Fire. Nation's Fire.
Oh yeah, yes. What about it?
Well, we wanted to know about it. Tell us a little bit about Nation's Fire and working with Bruce Dern. And
okay.
Yeah.
What happened was, there is this director who I have the most respect for. His name is Thomas Churchill, and I call him Sir Thomas Churchill because he's directed Lazarus Day of the Dead and Checkpoint and a whole bunch of other movies. And he is an incredible human being, not just a great director. He wrote the part for me, the part of Myra. And I play, believe it or not, I play the mother of the lead actress. Well, you could believe that, obviously. But her name is Krista Grotta, and she is phenomenal. And she is breathtaking. And I told her, you look like a painting. If I was gay, you'd be in trouble. And she is impossibly beautiful. And she was the star of the movie. And she was in a biker gang, runs a tattoo parlor, is on the ins and outs with her father. And I'm a drunken trailer trash train wreck in the movie, Myra. I played Bruce Dern's wife in the movie, in flashbacks, actually. Tom Proctor plays my current husband, but in flashbacks, Bruce Dern. And we improvised all our scenes, Bruce and I. And Bruce said to me, and I'll never forget this, he said it in front of the entire cast, he said, Laurene, there's only one woman I've ever worked with in my life, that is a better actor than you, and that is my daughter. If there is anything I can ever do for you, I want you to let me know. He screamed this in front of the entire Universal people, the reps, the cast, the crew, the managers. He just said that. He said, the only actress in your age range that is better, in your age range, there's no actor in your age range that is better than you that I've ever worked with in my life, except for my daughter. And he meant Laura Dern, of course. So that was quite the compliment. And anyway, Chris DeGratta's character has this son Tommy, and she's madly in love with him. And every time she comes to comes to see me to take Tommy to school, I'm of course, I had one or 100 too many, and she's out of her mind, which was a stretch. So I play this crazy, psychotic, drunken lunatic, and I hate her guts, actually. I despise my daughter because she's everything I always wanted to be and never was. She had an education. She's smart, had no education. So Chris DeGratta, look, and please go give her a page a like. She is astonishing. I can't say enough about Chris DeGratta, really.
That's fantastic. So and also Chris DeGratta, you talk so highly of people, and that's what I love about you, because you work with some really fantastic people, especially on the Terror Tales. Like I met Felissa Rose, Ari Lehman. Ari Lehman's going to be here November 24th. I will definitely.
With Ari. It was an anthology, omnibus. So we all worked at different times. I've only seen excerpts, but I know Ari is an amazing talent. So.
Yeah, and of course we're going to have Ellen Udy on the show tomorrow, which really exciting.
No, she's the bomb. And you think I'm crazy or funny? Wait till you talk to Helene.
Oh my gosh!
We did a show last year for David Decoteau called "A Husband for Christmas," and she just knocked it out of the park. She's a phenomenal actress and a good soul. I think she's Canadian as well.
Oh yeah, no, she's from Montreal. So would you say that the expression, like the crazy Canucks, like we are the crazy Canucks, like when
we are. And we say A because B was already taken.
That's right, baby. That's right. So, all right, let's talk about your Netflix, Sky. Let's do that. Talk about Netflix with Diane Kruger.
Yes.
Tell people about it.
Okay, I did that about 2 years ago now. It just came on Netflix. I don't know, maybe a year ago or 8 months ago. I don't know. But I play Charlene. I'm a bunny girl, a wackadoodle bunny girl on the Vegas Strip. I love playing severely flawed characters, three-dimensional characters that I can do something with. I get a lot of scripts sent to me, but if I can't do something with the script, with the character, then I just, unless I can do something with the character and make it my own or do something that people will remember, then I just pass on it. But this role was just fantastic. And, I'm Charlene, a girl, a wackadoodle bunny girl on the Vegas Strip. I have Elvis impersonators on either side of me. And, and I roller skate in the bowling alley, which I didn't get to do in the movie. I mean, I did in the movie. I roller skated a lot in the movie with my own skates. But Diane, and I skated backwards, 100 miles an hour. And the funny thing was, when we were filming in Vegas one day, shooting, I was skating backwards as fast as I could, and the streets were blocked up, but somebody forgot to check for potholes. So as Diane saying, her character Romy says to me, "Oh my God, you're so wonderful! You're skating. Charlene, you're such a good skater." And I said, "Oh, I was Miss Kansas City Bomber. I was Miss Kansas City Bomber, and I won every award." And at that second that I said that line, I hit a pothole that was about 4 or 5 inches deep. I hit the pothole on the line. I went flying in the air, flying backwards, and I landed on my head and my back, and I just laid there in shock. And they all came screaming, running over to me and said, oh my God, are you okay? Are you alive? Are you alive? And I sat up, and all I said was, did you get it on film? Oh, we got it, but we can't use it. You'll sue us. I said, I'm not going to sue you. They said, oh my God, now that you're alive, it's so funny. It's so funny. You're bragging about Miss Kansas City Bomber, and you're this and you're that, and you hit the pothole. It was extemporaneous. It wasn't planned. I really hurt my head, hurt my back, but I got up and, and skated some more, but the wind was really knocked out of me. So when I went to TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival, I asked them, did you leave that scene in where I hit the pothole and went flying? And the directors said, or producers said, no, we had to cut it out. We cut it out. I said, can I have the footage? No, nobody can find the footage.
Oh, geez. That sucks, because you know what? That probably would have went viral. Like one of those viral videos,
Oh my gosh.
Those kind of.
I think they were afraid of a lawsuit, because nobody could find the footage, even though everybody was there that saw it happen. I know somebody has the footage, but somebody up there did make a comment to me, one of the producers. Somebody didn't want it, the director didn't want it, or somebody didn't want it in the movie because of a lawsuit.
Oh, yeah.
I might sue, and I wasn't going to sue. I wanted to sue if they didn't put it in the stinking movie, but they took it out.
That's all right. I mean, hey, like say they probably have it, and they're like, oh well,
But I was in the movie a lot more. I was in the movie a lot more. Huge. I had a much bigger part, and unfortunately, by the powers that be, an actress in the movie had me cut out a lot of it. But the Hollywood Reporter says, if you go to LaureneLandon.biz, you'll see what the Hollywood Reporter said about my performance. And for me to repeat it is going to be bragging, so I'm going to tell you anyway. They say Landon's performance is so astonishing, or something like that. So riveting, so memorable, you wish the entire movie was about her. But anyway, I played a lesbian. Diane and I get together, and then for no reason, she comes and I'm with another woman, and we break up. It doesn't make sense. And everybody who wrote me that saw it says, there's so many missing pieces. And a very, very famous writer from Variety wrote me on Facebook. And he said, if you repeat this, I will never, ever, ever speak to you again, contact you again. You'll never hear from me again. But you were absolutely the best thing in the movie. Astonishing, unbelievable, amazing. I could have watched you the entire movie, which is similar to what the Hollywood Reporter said. So, I'm grateful that they said that. I was allowed, they gave me the creative license, which I love about independent films. Are you okay?
Oh, I'm sitting here hanging on every word, honey. I love it.
You have more blood on your face than you do skin.
You ever see Frank from we're not talking about that film. We're talking about you.
Who am I? Who am I today?
You are fantastic is what you are.
Who am I today?
I don't know. I don't know today. You're Laurene Landon in my eyes. Well, I can barely see out of these. This one especially. Oh, goodness gracious, my dear. This has been so. I'm telling you, this has been so entertaining and so amazing. I really do. I could talk with you. Pardon? Oh yeah.
For one of us.
Oh yeah, there you go. Look at that. Oh, there you go. Now you're talking.
I'm going to my party now.
All right, so I'm going to let you go after this one last question. We were talking about the paranormal, and yeah. How do you like investigations? And obviously, I know that you do believe in it. So let's talk just quickly about it.
Okay,
Give us your take on it.
I'll take my sunburn off.
Wow.
Okay, I live in a house that was built in 1904.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't say the name of the house because I have stalkers. Okay.
Yes,
And,
no stalkers.
yeah. Anyway, it's a green and green house, and it was built in 1904, completed in 1905, and it's haunted. And when I came in, when I walked through with the two, the realtor and the broker, we walked through one of the rooms up here upstairs. I'm upstairs in my room, but one of the rooms in the back, middle back, the air felt like it was pushing down really hard. And I said to the realtor, "Did somebody die in this room?" And the realtor said, "Why?" And I said, "Somebody died in this room." And he said, no. And I said, "Oh yeah, somebody died in this room. I can feel it." And he says, "Well, by law, we have to tell you the truth. Somebody did die in the house. But the person died in the front room, which was this room I'm in now, which is 2 bedrooms that have been broken down into one. It's a, it's a massive craftsman house." And he said, "No, the person that lived here before died in his office, which was the front room, this room now, which is 2 bedrooms really, an office and a bedroom." He said he died in the office. I said, "No, he died in this room." So I said, "No, he died in this room." So 6 months goes by. His brother from Hungary comes and he wants to meet the new owners. And he says, I said to him when he came to the house, I said, "Jacques, can I please take you upstairs?" And he said, "Sure." I said, "I have a personal question to ask you, and would you please follow me upstairs?" And he said, "Sure." And so we walked upstairs to the middle back room. I call it the spirit room. And I said, Did your Martin die in this room?" And he said, "Yes."
Wow.
He says, "How did you know that?" I said, "Well, the air, don't you feel the air?" And he said, "No." I said, "Don't you feel how warm this room is?" And it was winter. And he said, "No." I said, "Was there a bed here facing on the wall? A little bed?" He said, "Yes, there was a little bed." I said, "When he died, did his head land right here on the ground?" I made a circle. And he backed up. And he said, "Nobody could possibly know that. Nobody knows that."
Wow, that's incredible.
And I said, "He's here." And he said, "Is he happy?" And I said, "No, he's not happy." And he said, he never found the love of his life. He was gay, which is fine. Everyone I know is gay. Who cares? I love gay people. Of course. And he said he never found the love of his life. And he was very, very deep, which I had already said. And I said, he asked me not to smoke in the house. He said he hated smoking. And I said, well, he's asked me that. And I said, I don't smoke in the house because once in a while I'll smoke, once in a while. Don't do much of anything else like sex, but once in a while I'll have a cigarette, whatever. So there's a drawbridge going down to the basement, right?
Yeah.
And it's a drawbridge like something out of England. And you can only open it by pulling on a lever, a weird rope lever, and this drawbridge opens up, right? Like that. It's so bizarre. And all this creepy stuff has happened. I've seen white flashes of light going through the house. So has Addison, the guy that lives here, that lives with me. He's seen it. And we put giant bells on all the doors downstairs and all over the house, right?
Yep.
One night, Addison's always gone because he works for Humana, and he's a director, and he works all the time. And I'm always here by myself, but I live in no fear. I'm in no fear because I know Martin Wilde protects me. And also I have Moses and measles.
Oh, yeah.
And the gizzard who's sick, very sick.
Oh.
That's all right. That's, we choose to surround our lives with those that are shorter than our own, but we would certainly have it no other way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh.
Unbearable the gaps are, but we still would choose to have it no other way. Anyway, so there's bells on, Christmas bells on all the doors. And so many times I have, in the middle of the night, heard the bells ringing, 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 ringing. And ran downstairs, and one or two times I've seen a white flashing light like a starburst halo, go right through the house and through the window and out the door. That time. And another time I was asleep, and Moses, who sleeps with me, was growling, and I heard the drawbridge to the basement opening up.
Wow.
It opened up. And it's always closed with a bell on it, because there's an outside door where somebody could get in, even if you put on a lever to lock it. Somebody could maybe break the door, I don't know. But I heard that drawbridge open. I was sure somebody was in the house. And wow. Moses was growling and growling, and he came down with me. I was terrified. He was out of his mind. He ran right to the basement. The basement door was wide open, and I felt this strange presence, like, I don't know how to explain it, like this heat passing through me, and then it was gone. But it wasn't the light this time. It was just heat passing through me and gone. Maybe it was Marty and went back upstairs. I don't know. But a lot of crazy stuff has happened here. And a lot of people have wanted to come and bring their paranormal equipment, their paranormal equipment to see if their spirits. I know Marty's in the house, Martin Weil. I know his spirit is here in the house. And it's not a bad spirit, like I told Jacques, his brother. It's a very good spirit and a caring spirit, but a very, very sad spirit. It's not a malicious ghost. There is a ghost here, Martin, but it's a good ghost. It's a protective ghost.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow. You know what, Laurene, I could sit here all night again and talk with you and talk with you. You've done so many wonderful things. But
you have to get to the hospital and get stitches.
Absolutely. That's where I'm going right after this is done. And so I want to thank you so kindly again for taking the time to come on the Rockin' Boxes. I can't even talk anymore because there's so much blood that it's like I told you, it's making me dizzy. And everybody that's joined us this evening has thanked you and said, you know, what an awesome interview, and thank you very much for everything. And I would love to have you back at some other point. There's other projects that you're working on. There's other stuff that you're doing, and you come back here anytime to promote whatever the heck it is you're doing. You've been a joy. You've been a pleasure, and God bless you. You've been great.
Thank you to everybody who has said nice comments, or even bad comments probably. But thank you to everybody who has commented and who has watched the show. I don't know who you are, and I wish I did, but I'm on Facebook, so please friend me on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm really on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook anymore. There's too many crazies on it. I mean, there's nice people, but there's a lot of crazies on it. But Twitter, plus I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, and I only know 3 of them. So no. My best friend, Lisa. I want to say hi to my sister, my love of my life, Lisa French. She's my heart and soul, my rock, my best friend, my bestie of all time, Lisa French. I love you. I adore you.
Oh, that's so great. So I'm going to say, you know, on behalf of Tribulation Studios, which I give a huge shout out to Jerry Potter and his tireless efforts all week long. Amazing job Jerry Potter has done. He's absolutely the most creative, the most brilliant editor I have ever seen in my life. And even Larry Cohen said he's astonishing, and Larry Cohen even called him. Larry Cohen, who calls nobody unless it's about work or his friends, close friends, very close friends, or his wife Cynthia, who I adore. He made me call Jerry Potter. He made me show him the video 3 times, and he said to me, "Get on the phone and call Jerry Potter. I want to talk to him." And he's never said that. So I love you, Jerry. Oh, wow. There you go. That says something from my partner, Jerry, at Tribulation Studios. Like I always say, be good to one another, guys. Love one another. I'm going to go take care of this. I'll be back tomorrow with Ellen Udy at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Rockin' Boxes Presents. Tune in, subscribe, hit that bell like I always say, because it'll notify you when we go live. A last word from our beautiful, amazing guest. She's got to go to a party, guys. Laurene Landon, give it up for her, everybody. And one more word.
Love, and rescue. Rescue, please rescue. And thank you, Tribulation Studios, Rockin' Boxes Presents. Sean, thank you for having me on your amazing show. And put some ice on that. You know why they don't, why does Pollock put ice in his condom?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know why.
To keep the swelling down.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you for watching, whoever watched. Thank you. Friend me on Twitter, Facebook, Facebook, whatever.
Facebook.